Time has expired. I now recognize Mr. Timmons from South Carolina.
Thank you, Madam Chair. The greatest national security threat we face is debt. We have $37 trillion in debt. We have a $1.8 trillion annual deficit. The work this administration has done over the last few months has been designed to try to find waste, fraud, and abuse to help mitigate that. They're also working to help grow the economy through tax reform, through renegotiating trade agreements, through deregulation, through streamlining permitting. The list goes on and on. But I think that AI has a huge opportunity to grow the work that DOGE has done as it relates to seeking out waste, fraud, and abuse. So the main thing that they did early on was to get all the government agencies to communicate using the same language, to code the same, to then be able to create transparency and track data from all the different government agencies. And that effort was really the beginning, because now that everything goes through Treasury, now that we can track payment systems, we now have to layer on technology. And some of that is fairly simple. For example, I've introduced the TABS Act. The TABS Act, timely, accurate benefits. And what that act does is it uses a pilot program that was done in Missouri, where they, instead of using antiquated ways of confirming income eligibility for Medicaid, they use third-party website to verify eligibility immediately, and then the second you're no longer eligible, you are removed from whatever benefit it is. And so that resulted in a 17% reduction. So the way this technology works is you say, all right, I'm on hard times, I want to get whatever government benefit, and they say, all right, well, you got to log into your bank account. And then when you log into your bank account, it says, okay, you have a Venmo, you have a Cash App, you have a Zelle, you have to log into that too. And then immediately they say you're eligible or you're not eligible. And so you're actually getting benefits faster than normal. And this has a huge potential to save money, and that 17% of Medicaid is about $150 billion if you do it over the entire federal government. And you know, one thing that the One Big Beautiful Bill did was, instead of confirming eligibility once a year, which I think is ridiculous, we're now confirming eligibility twice a year. Well, why don't we confirm eligibility every day using technology? This is not hard. The technology exists. All we have to do is implement it. So that's one way that we can further find waste, fraud, and abuse, because I think we can all agree that if you're not eligible because you make too much money, or you're not eligible because, and this is the next step, because you're not the person who you say you are, then you shouldn't get government benefits. So I'm working on TABS 2, which is using technology to confirm you are who you say you are. And this is just using billions of publicly available pieces of data that, you know, for example, if you have an email address that was created in the last year, and you're 45 years old, you're probably not who you say you are. If you have 3 different phone numbers, that's not normal. So they're able to use technology, publicly available information, to confirm an individual requesting benefits is who they say they are. And honestly, that would not only help means-tested programs, it would help any government program. If you're saying you are who you say you are for Social Security, I mean, that's not means-tested, but we could use it to seek out waste, fraud, and abuse. So those are two things, two ways we can use technology to reserve government benefits for American citizens that deserve them. How can we grow that effort? How can we build on that effort using AI? Mr. Baktari?
Thank you. So I think those two examples indicate the potential that we have in AI adoption for government services. I think we got to do 3 things. The underlying issue that we have here is that we need to upgrade or modernize our IT infrastructure, because you cannot deploy AI if you don't have the necessary infrastructure underneath that. And so to do that, we need to do 3 things. Number 1 is we need to upgrade our platforms. Number 2 is we have to update our policies, obviously. And number 3 is we have to work on retraining and reskilling our people.
Ms. Miller, what are your thoughts?
There's a lot we can do in this area. I mean, this is what the software company that I created just does this. And mining open source intelligence to identify whether somebody is who they say they are is the lowest hanging fruit and the best use cases we can do in the fraud space for government programs, and not just means tested programs. Every grant program, we put $1 trillion in federal money out every year to states for grants. And we have very little understanding of where that money is going, but we can use AI and open source intelligence to very quickly identify if it's a shell company or even an organized crime ring that's actually getting that money.
And on the organized crime front, a lot of these involve changing addresses once they request benefits and things of that nature. And AI could easily say, oh, it's weird, there's a P.O. box in Eastern Europe that gets 43 checks a day. That's weird.
100%. There's geolocation. There's all kinds of behavioral biometrics that AI can flag. You can use, probably dozens of different data inputs to identify fraud today using AI.
And this is not a partisan issue. I think everyone can agree that only people that deserve benefits, that are entitled to benefits, should get them. So again, I think using technology to make sure that we're being wise with our taxpayer dollars is something that is a no-brainer, and I look forward to working with my colleagues across the aisle to do just that. Thank you, Madam Chair. I yield